Welcome, Captain. Welcome back. It's been a while.
Hey, shalom. Most High Christ bless. Most High Christ bless you. How's everybody doing today?
Very well. Welcome back. We're happy
sir.
to have you.
Praise to the Most High.
Yes, sir. We thank God that you're back. Everything is going on well for you as well in the congregation. Thank you very much. Today's topic, Captain. You know, growing up, when they talk about 666, we'll be thinking like a new chip. So we are even thinking we are going to put a chip in the vaccine and all these things. This is 666 and all that. What is 666? What is it talking about? Is it talking about money? Is it talking about our ID cards? Is it talking about radio frequency, whatever that they are talking about? What is that? What is 666? We don't understand.
666. When it comes to 666 or the mark of the beast, it referenced one particular race of people or man on this earth. His name is Esau, Idumean, Edom.
How do you come to that, Captain? How do you come to that?
The sixth seal is the sixth seal, the sixth trumpet, and it's sixth vial. Meaning Esau's prediction, the destruction, when you go to the book of Revelations. If I could get this real quick, Isaiah chapter 29, because a lot of people come up with their own understanding or their own interpretation on the scriptures of what 666 is or what the mark of the beast is. And a lot of times, like I said, people reference the mark of the beast to make known as the microchip.
Yeah.
When the microchip's been within the community, not even the Black community, we just started taking it on, but white people have been talking about that since the early 60s or 70s, I believe. Well, no, it's 1980s. They came up with that doctrine that the microchip will be the mark of the beast. But notice how every single year it changes. The understanding of the mark of the beast changes. Now, this year, coincidentally, because that, there's a prohibition of buying and selling unless you have the vaccine card, meaning you have to be vaccinated. So people are saying that the mark of the beast is the vaccine. But prior to that, you had the flu vaccine. The mark of the beast wasn't a flu vaccine back then. But so for some reason, the mark is all of a sudden the COVID vaccine. It doesn't make sense. Things change. Like I said, people's doctrines change with the wind, with the direction of the wind. And the reason being is that they were not given the Spirit of God. The eyes been blinded. The understanding of the Bible hasn't been opened up unto them. If we can read real quick, Isaiah chapter 29, verse 10.
It's the book of Isaiah 29, verse 10. For the Lord hath poured out upon you the spirit of deep sleep and hath closed your eyes.
So you have many of your brothers and sisters that are caught up in a Christian church, whether they went to the theologian schools to become pastors or priests. God poured out the spirit of deep sleep on them, meaning their spiritual eyes have been closed to the understanding of the Bible. They can't open it. And a lot of people try to go into the book of Revelations and open the seals up, meaning to open up the understanding and interpretation thereof to teach the people. When it talks about dragons, they think it's literal. Yeah. They don't see the symbolism behind it or the metaphors as well as the similes being spoke about within the scriptures. So the spirit of deep sleep was poured out upon these pastors. Why? Because they reject this truth. God gave them strong delusions that they may believe a lie. Go on.
The prophets and your rulers, the seers, hath he covered.
The prophets going to your pastors, the rulers, your Christian church pastors, your leaders, your Creflo Dollars, your T.D. Jakes, your Juanita Bottoms, your Joe Osteens, your Benny Hines, your prophets and your rulers. You have your presidents, your governors, your mayors, all trying to get some type of understanding of what the Bible is speaking about. Because globally, the Bible, you have these global leaders come to the aid or ask these pastors to interpret the times, so they can know how much time they have on this earth and how they should move. What are they supposed to be pushing out in our community? Because based upon the measurement of the time, they know, okay, because the time is getting shorter, we got to push this out now. We got to push mandates out now. We got to push vaccine cards out now. We got to restrict their travel. We got to restrict their access to the different continents. So it says, but God says, and have closed your eyes. The prophets and your rulers, the seers, have he covered. Meaning they're blinded to the true understanding of the Bible. They think they have time, but they don't have time. Time has ran out. Go on.
Verse 11, and the vision of all is become unto you as the words of a book that is sealed.
The vision, meaning the prophecy of all the scriptures recorded in the Bible, because the Bible is a prophetic book. The Bible is based upon the prophecies that was recorded 1,000 years, which have now become a history, which gives its validity. When people reference the Bible, they said the Bible is a book of stories, a book of principles, a book that you could take from for your daily life. Yes, you can. Yes, it is principles, but it's not stories. These are actual historical events that happen to our people. Books of principles and values in which we're supposed to cleave on to. He's going to say something?
I've heard someone saying about the Bible is just literature. You just have to read it. A white lady once at an interview, and another black person also. It's just you have to read through it, and if you read through it, it doesn't make sense. So we really want the understanding.
Yes, because it doesn't make sense unto it doesn't make sense unto the unspiritual eye, the person that doesn't have the Spirit of God within them. So it says, and a book is, get to point, verse 11 again.
Isaiah 29, verse 11. And the vision of all is become unto you as the words of a book that is sealed.
The vision of all the scriptures written within this Bible is given to them of all, become unto you as the words of a book that is sealed. This understanding of the Bible is still sealed to those pastors, to those preachers, to those priests, to those governors, to those mayors, to those presidents, to those global leaders. The prophecy of the Bible is sealed unto them. But guess what? The secrets were given to the servants, the prophets. Go on.
Which men delivered to one that is learned, saying, read this, I pray thee. And he said, I cannot, for it is sealed.
So we delivered the Bible to them, and we said, read this. What does this mean? What does the seventh seal mean? What seal are we in? What is the dragon? Who is the dragon? What is the mark of the beast? Who is the beast? And what is the number and the representation of the number of the beast? Yeah. But you give it to them. They say it's the microchip. When did you read that, brother? Oh, I read that from InfoWars. What did you go for? Some type of conspiracy theorist. Where did you get that information? Oh, I got that from Google. We call them Google prophets or conspiracy theorists nuts. It's given to them, but they can't interpret the Bible, so they have to get outside sources in order to get the proper understanding. When the Bible says precept must be upon precept, precept upon precept, line upon line, line upon line, here a little and there a little. But it's only given to the prophets. The secrets of God is only revealed to those that keep his commandments and who it was entrusted to. The people of the book, the people of the prophecy. Now, can you go to the book of Daniel chapter 12, verse 4. Given that the prophecy has been sealed to your Christian pastors, your priests, your Catholic priests, your governors, your world leaders, your global leaders, your shadow leaders, but it hasn't been sealed to us. That's why they watch our classes every week. That's why they try to restrict our movement. That's why this whole world has been built off of keeping the Israelites indoctrinated in darkness, as well as keeping them from gaining access to the people. That's why there is a media blackout for us. There's a TV, a media blackout for the Israelites. They don't want this world to cross the four corners of the earth. Read that. Daniel chapter 12, verse 4 now.
This is the book of Daniel 12, verse 4. But thou, O Daniel, shut up the words and seal the book, even to the time of the end.
So God said to the prophet Daniel, thou, O Daniel, shut up the words, meaning seal the understanding of the book, the proper interpretation. I want you to seal their spiritual eyes. Give them the spirit of deep sleep. Just like during the time of the Maccabees, it says they waited for a prophet to give them the correct understanding of how they should move. Why? Because not anybody can interpret this Bible. The Lord put the spirit on certain prophets on this earth to interpret it the proper way. Read it again.
Daniel 12, verse 4. But thou, O Daniel, shut up the words and seal the book, even to the time of the end. Many shall run to and fro, and knowledge shall be increased.
And seal the book. Seal the book, even to the time of the end. Now, we are in the time of the end. How do you know we're in the time of the end? Because we're waking up. The seals have been opened. Give me that in Revelation chapter 5. So we know that we're in the time of the end based upon the seals being opened. You see the earthquakes on the earth. You see the wars and the rumors of wars. You see the great plagues being spread all throughout the earth. You see the understanding of us being Israelites is being open to us now, the understanding and knowledge. The Spirit of God is making its way and moving through our communities to the point that we're waking up. We're building back the black households. We're teaching our people. The crime rate is decreasing. You have not only that, but the marriage rate is increasing based upon the word of God being unsealed. Verse 1.
Okay, verse 1. Revelation 5, verse 1. And I saw in the right hand of him that sat on the throne a book written within and on the backside sealed with 7 seals. And I saw a
so the
strong
book
angel
written with 7 seals is the Bible. Go on.
And I saw a strong angel proclaiming with a loud voice, who is worthy to open the book and to loose the seals thereof?
Who is worthy to open the understanding of the Bible and to loose the seals thereof, the plagues, the destructions on this earth? Go on.
And no man in heaven, nor in the earth, neither under the earth, was able to open the book, neither to look thereon.
Mm-hmm.
And I wept much because no man found worthy to open and to read the book.
You see,
neither to look thereon.
And I wept. John said he wept because no man was found worthy to open and to read the book. Because think about it. After John died, after Christ died, let me show you something real quick. Real quick. Second Ezra chapter 7, verse 28.
This book of Second Ezra 7, verse 28. For my son Jesus shall be revealed with those that be with him, and they that remain shall rejoice within 400 years.
So it says, for my son Jesus, who's this talking about? Jesus Christ, the Black Messiah. It says, so my son Jesus shall be revealed with those that be with him. Christ during the Roman captivity will be revealed with the 12 disciples. He'll be manifested and understanding the wisdom of understanding and interpretation of the scriptures will be revealed and manifested to the prophets, be manifested to the disciples and given to his followers. Go on.
Verse 39. After these years shall my son Christ die, and all
because
men,
why? Christ died approximately around 33 AD. Go on.
And all men that have life.
And all those that had life, go even unto John the Apostle. So you have all men that had life, meaning those men that follow Christ. You have the disciples leading up to John when he died on the island of Patmos in about 96 AD or so, something like that, or 93 AD. Then you have disciples that follow Christ and push the gospels all throughout Asia Minor, all throughout Africa, Spain, Europe, all throughout I'll say the Eastern Hemisphere, there's pushing the gospel. So around the Council of Nicaea, around 333 AD, when Constantine, there was persecuting the followers of Christ and the Christians. And after that, the teachings of Christ came to a halt. That's when Christianity in its true nature and its form came to existence in terms of the indoctrination of paganism. when the Sunday laws came, or when the Sabbath was changed to Sunday, when Easter was adopted, when you had so-called Mother's Day, Constantine, Christmas, all these holidays or pagan customs were adopted into the churches based upon these councils, the Council of Nicaea. You had the Council of Constantinople, the Council of Ephesus. So you have something called the 7 ecumenical councils, or even more, which established the Christian religion that we know as today. Go on.
And the world shall be turned into the old silence 7 days, like as in the former judgments, so that no man shall remain.
And the world shall turn into the old silence. What is that talking about, the old silence? Meaning during the dark ages, starting from the time period, I'll say, of Constantine, leading all the way to the Renaissance period, or past the Renaissance period, all the way to Elijah being revealed on this earth, the world shall turn into the old silence 7 days. Meaning there'll be no prophets. This understanding of the scriptures wouldn't be revealed. The interpretation of the scriptures wouldn't be loosed. So now, go back to Revelation chapter 5.
The book of Revelation 5.
Verse 4.
Verse 4. And I wept much, because no man was found worthy to open and to read the book, neither to look thereon.
No man on this earth was found worthy to open the book, neither to read the book. Why? Because it is sealed. You cannot, anybody think that they can open the Bible and just read it and get the proper understanding. You cannot open the Bible, read it, and get the understanding if it wasn't given to you. Christ himself has to give you the spirit and the interpretation to be able to read it with your spiritual eyes and get the correct understanding. Go on.
Verse 5. And one of the elders said unto me, weep not. Behold, the Lion of the tribe of Judah, the root of David, hath prevailed to open the book.
So open the understanding of the book. Go on.
And to loose the 7 seals thereof.
And not only did he open the understanding of the book, give me Luke chapter 24, verse 45. But he loosed the 7 seals. He loosed the plagues upon this earth. Now let's get into our topic. Luke chapter 24, verse 45. When he opened the book.
Luke 24, verse 45.
Uh-huh.
Then opened he their understanding.
He opened the book, meaning he opened our understanding. He opened our spiritual eyes. He removed the scales from our eyes. Now we can see. Now we can read, we can comprehend and understand. What's the prophecies talking about? Go on.
That they might understand the scriptures.
That we might understand the prophecies. Because why? Christ opened the book and gave us the understanding of the scriptures. From the book of Genesis all the way to the book of Revelation. Is that it?
Yes, sir.
Now, Revelation chapter 13, verse 7. The mark of the beast, the mark of the beast. Now, in order to understand what the mark of the beast is making reference to, you got to go a little bit back in history, because a lot of people like to start at verse 16 and just get the proper understanding. No, the mark of the beast is a compilation of the whole chapter, which is being discussed. People think that the mark is something. Now, I'm just going to tell you what the mark is altogether. It's sin, 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 and nothing else. It is no microchip. Now, there's different factions within the mark, but the overall compass of what the mark is going to the sin, whether it be political, whether it be religious, whether it be economical, whether it be ideological or philosophical. Whatever faction you want to go into in terms of the mark. Oh, you see the vaccine. Okay, but it all compiles, it's a compilation of what is called sin. It's not one source or one entity in which the mark is. It's Esau's so-called white man, Europeans' way of life in which we adopted, assimilated, and integrated into. So now, let's start at Revelation chapter 13, verse 7.
The book of Revelation 13, verse 7. And it was given unto him to make war with the saints and to overcome them. And power was given him over all kindreds and tongues and nations.
Read that again.
Verse 7. And it was given unto him to make
So
war
who's
with
this
the
talking
saints.
about? And it was given unto him to make war with the saints. Who's the saints? Because people will say, you see, the dragon, my brother, the beast that have 7 heads and 7 crowns and 7 horns. What is it? 7 heads and 10 horns. You see, the dragon that came up made war with us. A mythical red dragon is going to come out from the caves of Europe, reveal itself in the last days, breathing fire, my brother, and it's going to make war with the believers of God in Christ.
Yeah,
It's
yes,
going to
sir.
breathe
Yeah,
fire.
yeah, that's the belief. That's the belief, Captain. That's the belief.
God, out their damn mind.
That's the belief. You have cartoons and stuff around the end of the world.
Yeah, a dragon. A dragon is all of a sudden going to pop out of nowhere and it's going to breathe fire on us. Hey, and it said it was given unto him to make war with the saints. To make war with the saints. Let me first get, who are the saints? Give me that in Psalm chapter 148, verse 14. It was given unto who? We're going to show you who was given to make war with who. Go on.
This is the book of Psalm 148, verse 14. He also exalted the horn of his people, the praise of all his saints, even of the children of Israel.
So his saints is indeed the children of Israel. Now get me Genesis chapter 27, verse 38. So it says power was given unto him to make war with the saints. So John the Revelator is prophetically speaking about a particular time period in our history that brought the destruction of the saints, that brought the destruction of the Israelites. This happened during the Spanish Inquisition. We have about 1430, or say 1453 during the Renaissance, or during the Spanish Inquisition. We had the European powers, whether it be the Portuguese, whether it be the Spanish. They were going inquiring and finding the followers of Christ. They were looking for those that kept the commandments of God, those that kept the faith of Christ, those that were keeping the Sabbath day, those that were keeping Passover, those that were keeping Day of Atonement, those that were refraining from eating pork, shrimp, crab, lobsters, all unclean foods. Power was given unto them. What type of power? Genesis chapter 27, verse 38.
This is the book of Genesis 27, verse 38.
Read.
And Esau said unto his father, hast thou but one blessing, my father? Bless me, even me also, O my father.
So who's Esau today? Your so-called white man? Oh, yes, you're a European man. Everybody that calls himself Caucasian, whether it be French Caucasian, Dutch, British, Portuguese, Spanish. Oh, yes, that your Mr. Rogers, your friendly neighborhood white man, his name is Esau. You have your friendly neighborhood, your Jim, your Bob, your Bill, your bosses, your senators, your presidents, your mayors, your governors. Guess who? They're all descendants from Esau. Red people, so-called white people, Europeans, Caucasians. Go on.
And Esau lifted up his voice and wept.
Go on.
And Isaac his father answered and said unto him, behold.
Why did Esau wept? Why did he weep? Because he sold his birthright. Because why? The white man would sold anything for any. The white man would sell his own soul for substance. He will put God, he will put money, he will put gold, he will put wealth, he will put resources over God's promises.
Yeah, that is true. Yeah.
The white man back then didn't believe in God. He didn't believe in the promise of the Bible, just like he don't believe it today. His God is gold. His God is food. His God is substance. His God is wealth. They don't believe in God, just like they don't believe back then. They don't believe today. But Jacob says, oh, hell no. Oh, you the firstborn? You want to sell some of your birthright. He counted it as nothing. So he gave away his birthright, which contained the kingdom. Now he's mad. Now he wants to cry. Now he wants to take vengeance on us. For what? What do we do to you? You're a hunter, right? Why did you go find your own food, cook your own food? And why did you sell your birthright? And this shows you the nature of the white man. He always used us. Yeah. He's a hunter. Rather hunting and getting his own food, they always come to us to gather the food for them.
Yeah.
But the stipulation and charges, you got to sell yourself. You got to sell your soul. They always used us.
Yeah.
He's a hunter in the field hunting. But rather him working and his impatience, he says, you feed me. You give me the food. I want you to feed me. I want you to give me the food that you have already cooked. The spirit of the white man. Go on.
Verse 39. And Isaac, his father, answered and said unto him, behold, thy dwelling shall be the fatness of the earth.
So Isaac said, one of your blessings, Esau, is your dwellings shall be the fatness of the earth. Meaning the fatness is the best parts of the earth. Just like the fatness of meat, of the food, of the animal. Guess what? You're going to have the best parts. The best parts where it has the best or the most natural resources. Or it's going to have the most resources or the most agriculture. The most beautiful places. The most wealthiest places. And you got to ask yourself a question. The white man came out of the caves during the Renaissance era, and there was other nations living in these different parts. Like Africa is the fatness of the earth. South America is the fatness of the earth. America is the fatness of the earth. Europe is not the fatness of the earth.
No.
Europe lacks resources.
Yeah.
You have certain European nations where they lack resources. That's why they have to send the Spanish conquistadors or the conquerors or the navigators and explorers to explore other parts of the world, to bring the food back to Europe, to bring the food and the wealth back to the crown king and queen. Go on.
And of the dew of heaven from above.
And from the dew of heaven from above. What is the dew of heaven? That's going to, they'll be given the science and technology, the knowledge of science and technology in order to create planes, as well as spaceships to go to the skies, as well as to go into outer space. That was the gift. That was the blessing. It was blessed with the gift of science. It was blessed with the gift of technology. It was blessed with the gift of the math to be able to go into the atmosphere, to be able to go to the heavens, to be able to fly planes in the skies. That was his blessing. Go on.
Verse 40. And by thy sword.
And by thy what?
And by thy sword shalt thou live.
And by thy sword shalt thou live. How? That's why it says, and thy dwelling shall be the fatness of the earth. How did he get Africa? He colonized it by the sword. He made war with the saints. How did he get Europe? He colonized it. The Polynesians, the Taiwanesians, the Japhites. He colonized it and conquered it. How did he get America? He colonized it and conquered it. And by thy sword shall they what?
And by thy sword shalt thou live.
And by thy sword shall Esau live. Read.
And shall serve thy brother.
That's all I want on that.
Okay.
Now go back to Revelation chapter 13, verse 7.
This book of Revelation 13, verse 7. And it was given unto him to make war with the saints.
What was given to Esau? Power. Now we know what his Bible's talking about. Power was given unto him. What type of power? Military power was given unto him. The art of war. The technology to create weapons of mass destruction, to be able to conquer these nations, to overthrow their lands and take it by force. It was given unto him power, military power, as well as the power to create weapons of mass destructions, powers to create guns like the Gatling guns that conquered the North American Indians to take and seize North America. Power was given unto him. Read.
And to overcome them.
Amen. Unto overcome us. Primarily, this happened during the Renaissance period when they conquered us in Spain, Portugal, and England with King James, being the last ruling king of England and Scott. Then after that, after the Spanish Inquisition, they enslaved most of us, sent us to Ireland, sent us to Jamaica, sent us to Africa, enslaved us in Africa. Then they went to the New World. They enslaved the North American Indians. They enslaved the IUIC Indians. They enslaved the Northern Kingdom in South America, Central America, North America. They enslaved the Israelites. Power was given unto them to make war with the saints and to overcome us. Go on.
And power was given him over all kindreds and tongues and nations.
And not only that, power was given unto him over all tongues, meaning all people that speak different languages, whether they speak French, whether they speak Arabic, whether they speak Hindu, whether they speak Russian, whether they speak what are some other nations that I miss? Polynesians, to Hawaii, whatever the languages they are. British, Dutch.
Yeah.
These are
There's a
Edomite
lot of
nations.
languages,
but,
yeah.
so many different languages. So now, and it says, and power was given him over all kindreds and tongues and nations. Meaning power was given to him over the whole earth. Go on.
And all that dwell upon the earth shall worship him.
And all that what?
All that dwell upon the earth shall worship him.
All nations, all kindreds, and all tongues shall worship the beast, shall worship Esau. Go on.
Whose names are not written in the book of life of the Lamb, slain from the foundation of the world.
Whose names was written in the book of life? Give me Exodus chapter 32, verse 33. Whose names were not written in the book of life. Whose names was written in the book of life? Read that.
That's the book of Exodus 32, 33.
Yep.
Exodus 32, 33. And the Lord said unto Moses, whosoever had sinned against me, him will I blot out of my book.
So it says, whosoever sinned against God, him shall he blot out of his book, the book of life. Who was given the commandments of God in the wilderness? The Israelites. So he wasn't talking to all races and nations of people. So the power that was given to him for all nations, all kindreds, and all tongues to worship the white man, whose name was not written in the book of life. Guess why? That's why only the Israelites is worshiping God the correct way. Only the Israelites has the correct understanding of the Bible. The whole world is worshiping the beast. The whole world is worshiping the white man. Keep that in mind. Keep that. I want you to keep in mind, and all kindreds, tongues, and nations worship the beast. Go on.
First, go back to Revelations.
Yep.
Book of Revelation 13, verse 8. And all of
No. Verse 9 now.
Oh, yes, sorry, verse 9. If any man have an ear, let him hear.
If any man have an ear, we all have ears. We all hear. But it's talking about our spiritual ears. To open up our ears, open up our mind to hear what the Spirit has to say. Go on.
Sorry, verse 9. If any man have an ear, let him hear.
Mm-hmm.
He that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity.
Mm-hmm.
He that killeth with a sword must be killed with a sword.
Where do we just read that? Why did John make reference? He that leadeth into captivity must go into captivity. He that killeth with the sword must be killed with the sword. Then we not just read Genesis chapter 27, verse 38.
Yeah.
When it says, and he shall, let me get that real quick. And by thy sword shall he live. We don't have to get that. It says, and by thy sword shall Esau live. How did Esau kill us? How did he use the sword? In verse 7. The power that was given to him was the military power in order to conquer and overthrow the Israelites and lead us into captivity, meaning slavery. So the results or the consequences for killing us with the sword, conquering us, overcoming us, and enslaving us, he shall be killed with the sword. Him lead us into captivity during the Spanish Inquisition, as well as the 1619 transatlantic slave trade, leading up to today. Guess what? They're going to go into captivity. You reap what you sow. Be not deceived. God is not mocked. Go on.
Here is the patience and the faith of the saints.
So the saints are the same saints in verse 7. The same saints in Psalm 148, verse 14. Those ones that suffered atrocities. Those ones that are, I would say, what's the word I'm looking for? Prisoners of war. Those Israelites that are prisoners of war. Because that's what we are. We're prisoners of war. Here is the patience and the faith of the saints. Those that were led into captivities. Those whose ancestors were killed, raped, robbed, and spoiled. Go on.
Verse 11, and I beheld another beast coming out of the earth.
So John now is going further in history. So John is giving us historical accounts in chronological order at how America was established as a major ruling kingdom. So the first establishment of America is him conquering the Israelites, being brought back into position and rulership and power and authority during 1453, during the Spanish Inquisition, when he conquered us and overthrew us and took our lands and enslaved us. Go on.
And he had two horns like a lamb, and he spake as a dragon.
So this is the point in time when America has established themselves as a major ruling empire, the birth of America's nation. When it says, and I beheld another beast coming up out of the earth. Now this beast is talking specifically about America. Verse 7 was talking about the Spanish as well as the Portuguese. Now, verse 11 is the descent of America's rulership, America's empire in 1776. Now, prior to that, in 1776, America was established. But when it says a beast coming out of the earth, mean a beast coming into rulership. Read on.
And he had two horns like a lamb, and he
had two horns like a lamb. He had two horns like a lamb. Because after America was established, America established two political parties. Because at first, you have what is called the Democratic Republic Party, which was created in 1790, which was one party, political agenda. So in 1824, the party split into two parties, the Democrats as well as the Republicans. The Democrats established under John Quincy Adams, and the Republican Party established under what's his name? Thomas Jefferson. So that was the two horns, the two political parties, the two political structures that was set up on America. But it says, and it spake as a lamb. Why does the Bible say it spake as a lamb? Even though these politics, or America's politics, they push policies and they push the different factions of the government, they speak as a lamb. That's why you have the Republican Party is the main objective is based upon, or what do you call conservatism, which is old Bible principles, Bible values, has some type of Bible foundations. That's why they're against abortion. That's why they're against same-sex marriage, because they try to oppose some type of biblical principles. That's why it says, and spake like a lamb. What does it mean to speak like a lamb? Go to the book of John, 1 verse 30.
That's it for one more Facebook. If you're on Facebook, please like and share and like. I see Facebook page going up bit by bit.
John 1 verse 29.
It's the book of John 1 verse 29. The next day, John seeth Jesus coming out unto him and said, Behold, the Lamb of God, which taketh away the sin of the world.
Christ was the Lamb. And that's why it says these parties will speak like a lamb. You have the Republican Party as well as the Democratic Party cover themselves with Christianity, cover themselves with the teachings of Christ, or try to cover themselves with the teachings of Christ. That's why they have the American preamble. We hold these truths to be so. No, not that. I'm not the preamble. Or you see it in the back of the dollar bill. It says, "In God we trust."
Yeah, in God we trust.
or even when they swear in the president, they try to somewhat swear in on the Bible.
The Bible, yeah, even the courts, yeah, in the justice.
That's why it says they speak as a lamb.
Yeah, in the judicial system, yeah.
Exactly. Now, go on. And as well as the judicial system.
Yeah.
Because America's judicial system is established based upon the laws of Judah. Who? The lawgiver. Now there should be a lawgiver depart from his feet. Genesis chapter 49. The laws of Judah. The laws of Christ. Judicial system.
Yeah.
The laws of Judah. The laws that came from Christ. And he spake like as a lamb. Go on.
Verse 11 again. And I beheld another beast coming out of the earth, and he had 2 horns like a lamb, and he spake as a dragon.
And he spake. Even though America covers himself as a lamb, they speak like a dragon. They speak rough. They speak fiercely. They speak to the media. They speak to the court systems. They speak to the prison institution. They speak like a dragon. They're fierce and ferocious. And they consume and they destroy and devour. Go on.
Verse 12. And he exercised all the power of the first beast before him, and he caused the earth and them.
It says, and he exercised all the power of the first beast. What is the first beast? Rome. Rome. They exercised the political power in terms of the Senate. They exercised the power in terms of the ideologies, the philosophies, philosophical thinkings. They established their power in terms of the monetary system. He exercised not only that, but the monetary system, the political system, the democracy, as well as Christianity. That's why they have the Roman Catholic Church. Yeah. America's religious institution is based upon the Roman Catholic Church. America is a new Rome resurrected. And that's why you go to the court systems. That's why you go to the buildings in New York. They have what is called, they have the pillars that are structured like those of ancient Rome. You have the Colosseum is today's Olympics or today's sports arenas. You have the months or at the Roman months. All right?
That's true, yeah.
Go on.
And caused the earth and them which dwell therein to worship the first beast, whose deadly wound was healed.
So they caused the earth and all that dwell therein to worship the first beast. America brings all nations back to the ideology and the worship of Rome. That's why they go to the Pope. The Pope is established where? In Rome. That's where all the religions and doctrines are being pushed for the Roman Catholic Church. He caused everybody to worship the first beast. How? Because you're going to read further down. It was under the papal bulls of the Pope in which Christianity was spread throughout the Americas, in which Christianity was spread throughout South America, North America, Central America, Africa.
Yeah, mostly Africa.
You have the Spanish, the Portuguese, you have the French, the Dutch. In America, all of them are in agreement that Rome is to be worshipped. That's why they had the climate control meeting, the COP meeting. Where did they have it? All nations meeting where? In Rome, under the Pope, to discuss global issues.
Yeah.
They caused everybody to worship Rome. Go on.
Revelation 13:13. And he doeth great wonders, so that he maketh the fire come down from heaven on the earth in the sight of men.
So America now doeth great wonders. What is the great wonders? That he make fire to come down from the heavens upon earth. 1945, the Manhattan Project, where you have, what is my man's name for the Manhattan Project? His name is Oppenheimer. Something J. Oppenheimer. And he says, now I am become death, the destroyer of worlds. It was during the Manhattan Project when they created the atom bomb. When they dropped the atom bomb on Hiroshima and Nagasaki, when America, during World War II, America brought the World War II to an end, a closure when Japan and America will have conflicted issues, and Japan bombed Pearl Harbor, and in response to that, you have Harriet Truman. Harriet Truman gave the order to drop the bomb. And they have power. And they dropped the bomb. Hiroshima and Nagasaki, the atom bomb, or Hiroshima and Nagasaki. It was Truman. And what it says, read on.
And he doeth great wonders, so that he maketh fire come down from heaven.
He made fire come down from heaven. He made an atom bomb come down from the skies. Go on.
In the sight of men.
In the sight of all men. And this happened during World War II. So all nations saw the power of America. All kindreds. When Germany was warring with Britain, they said, stop, wait. Hitler is not going to be the next superpower amongst the Edomite nations. Britain is not going to be the next. Britain was the superpower back then.
Yeah.
But they said, this is the man. This is the man. This is our brother in which Satan is dealing with. This is the anointed one. America is the anointed Idumean nation. America is the anointed Idumean Edomite tribe. This is him. Satan is dealing with him. Just like God dealt with the prophets, God dealt with Elijah to make fire come down from heaven. Satan is dealing with America to make fire come down from heaven through nuclear explosion. Go on.
Verse 14. And deceiveth them that dwelleth on the earth.
And they deceive all nations that dwell upon the earth, saying that surely God is with this man. Because a lot of these scientists that created the atom bomb, that came up with these scientific discoveries, it was fed to them in a dream. It was given to them in a vision by their forefather, their daddy, Satan. So everybody says, surely God is with them. The periodic table that we have, it was given to them in a dream. The scientific equations, or how atoms works, or you have the relativity theory established by Einstein, was given to him in a dream.
Einstein.
All these were given to these scientists in a dream. So the people says, wait a minute, surely America is working with this country. Surely God is working with this country. He's given the power, the science, and the technology, the knowledge to be able to create these great inventions. Surely God is with them. Let's give them our power. Let's give them our wealth. Let's give them our military strength. Let's give them our economic strength. Let's give them our monetary strength. Go on.
By the means of those miracles which he had power to do in the sight of the beast.
You see, the Bible says miracles, but their miracles is their magic. Their magic is their science. Because during the time period of Christ and the disciples, they put John on an island of Patmos, saying that anyone that prophesied is magicians. They locked us up. They imprisoned us and killed us. They said, you're a magician and you're a witch if you speak prophecies. But these are the true magicians and witches. Their science is wizardry. Their science is witchcraft. Their science is witchcraft. It's wizardry. It's magic. It's spells. Go on.
Saying to them that dwell on the earth, that they should make an image to the beast, which had the wound by a sword and did live.
So now, John is going back into history. He said, I'm going to show you the beast that the whole world could think about it. In verse 8, it says, and all that dwell upon the earth shall worship him. Now, John is going back into the point of history. He's showing when the earth first started to worship him. During the Renaissance period under Pope Alexander VI, he hired Leonardo da Vinci as well as Michelangelo to paint his son, Caesar Borgia, to be the new representation of Christ. And that's why they had certain paper bulls that were signed, like the Requiremento. I forgot what it was. Two specific paper bulls that were signed in place to establish Christianity, to convert the natives into Christianity, and to push his image. So he put that in law. So it says, empower, and he had, go on.
I'll read again. Verse 14, and deceiveth them that dwell on the earth by the means of those miracles which he had power to do in the sight of the beast,
Go on.
saying to them that dwell on the earth, that they should make an image to the beast, which had the wound by a sword and did live.
So they said we should make an image to the beast. Now Rome coming back into the Renaissance means the rebirth of Rome, back into power. Now that Rome is back into power, the world has been ruled by these Negroes, these blacks during the Dark Ages. Now we have to convince the whole world to worship us. There's gonna be a new global world order on this earth. And in order to establish that, we have to show the whole earth who is God and who's the Son of God. We're gonna paint God and the Son of God to be us. And the whole world is gonna worship us. Go on.
Verse 15. And he had power to give life unto the image of the beast.
So Pope Alexander VI had a papal power. He had a power of the church, as well as a power of the military. He had the power of the church to give an executive order to push out to the Roman armies or the Spanish armies under the conquistadors to push Christianity on the natives. He had that power, that the power of the church as well as power of the army. He had power to give life unto the image of the beast. He gave life. He gave the life of Christ to Caesar Borgia. Like I said before, he had Michelangelo and Leonardo da Vinci to paint the image of his son to be the new representation of Christ. Go on.
That the image of the beast should both speak.
And how does the image of the beast speak today? Through the technology, through the television, through the Hollywood, through the witchcraft, through the wizardry. They have to speak on a screen, the television screen, through your passage of Christ, through your He Has Risen, through your cartoon TV shows, through your Disney worlds, through your plays, through their holidays, the pagan holidays. They have light and they have power to give life to the image of the beast. Go on.
That the image of the beast should both speak and cause that as many as would not worship the image of the beast should be killed.
That's what the many that did not worship the image of the beast goes to back to verse 7. And it was given unto him to make war with the saints and to overcome them. When he made war with the saints, with the natives, when he made war with the Israelites during the Spanish Inquisition in Spain, in Portugal, in England, when he made war with us in Africa, guess what? He caused many as would not worship the image of the beast should be killed. He started killing us. When he made war with us, when he overcame us, he forced us to worship his image. I'll say it again. When he made war with us, when he overcame us, he forced us to worship his image, or we were killed. It all coincides one with another. Go on.
Verse 16. And he caused all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads.
Now, when you look at everything in its proper context, where does a microchip come into place? That's why I want to start at verse 7 to give you the historical background leading up to America as a world global superpower today, and how they came into power through the ascension. Through the ascension, starting during the time of the Renaissance period, when the Israelites were conquered, and a different ruling Edomite empires, such as the Spanish, such as the Portuguese, such as the French, such as the Germans, the Russians, the Germans, the British in America. And it says, and he calls it all. Who is the all that he's causing? Now, mind you, in verse 7, the Israelites were conquered. He says, and he made war with the saints, which the Israelites had overcame us. Then the bottom of verse 7, after he overcame the Israelites, and power was given him over all kindreds and tongues and nations.
Yeah.
So when the Bible says in verse 16, read that.
Verse 16. And he calls it all.
He calls it all. He calls it the Israelites. He calls it the kindred, the different kindreds, the tongues and the nations. He calls it the Arabics. He calls it the East Indians. He calls it the Chinese. He calls it the Japanese. He calls it the Polynesians, the Taiwanesians. He calls it the North Koreans. He causes the Africans, all kindreds, all nations, all tongues, no matter what language you speak. He causes all, read,
both small and great,
small nations and great nations. Read,
rich and poor.
rich nations. The rich nations are what is called the free world. The rich nations are the ones that was given the power to conquer the saints. You have Spain, Portugal, French, the Dutch, the Spanish, the British, America, the free worlds. This is the free world, is the colonizers. They're the rich nations. Why? They became rich off of the wealth and resources, the commodities of the Israelites.
Yeah.
They became rich by conquering us and colonizing us and seizing our land, our wealth. Go on.
Free and bond to receive a mark.
Rich. It says rich and poor. And the poor nations is what you call your third world countries.
Yeah, the developing countries now.
The developing countries.
They've modernized it. Developing countries.
the countries that suffer, the countries that were enslaved under the colonizers, the Europeans. Those are the poor nations. Haiti is your poor nation. Even though it's rich in resources, it's poor because the white man colonized them.
Yeah.
You have Africa, it's rich in resources, but it's poor because the white man colonized it. You have North and Central South America. The people, the natural inhabitants is poor, but America's rich because they colonized it and took the resources thereof.
Yeah.
So it says small and great, rich and poor. Read.
Free and bond.
Free nations. We have what is called the free world, such as England, US, Russia,
the West,
all these European nations, China, Japan, China, Saudi Arabia, Switzerland. They call the free world because why? They're free economically, monetarily, militarily. They have their own government. They're not under the colonial powers of the British rule. They're not under the French rule. Just like Haiti's under the French rule. Haiti will be called a bond nation. You have Ghana is under the British rule. You have
the French-speaking countries in Africa. They are still under the French.
Yeah. You have the Congo is under the Belgian rule.
Yeah.
So that's why it says bond, free and bond nation, and bondage. Go on.
To receive a mark.
Free world or your third world countries, like your Ethiopia, Zimbabwe, Cuba, Brazil, El Salvador, Haiti. These are all colonized countries. Free and bond. Go on.
To receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads.
To receive a mark in the right hand or in the forehead. Think about it. A mark is a seal. A mark is a stamp. When it's talking about a mark in the right hand and their forehead, it's talking about, let me show you something real quick. Get me.
If you're on Facebook, you can like and share and like the page, or leave a message behind. We will ask Captain accordingly.
You know what? I don't want to go to Daniel. The mark. I want to go to. Anybody know who that is? Let me know.
1 Timothy 4 and 2.
Thank you. Thank you.
It's book of 1 Timothy 4 and 2. Speaking lies and hypocrisy, having a conscience seared with the hot iron.
Having a conscience seared with the hot iron. A mark is a seal. A mark is a stamp. A mark is something that's sealed within you. So when it says having a mark, it says having a what? Read it again.
Verse 2. Speaking lies and hypocrisy, having the conscience seared with a hot iron.
Having your conscience seared. Having a mark. That's what it says. And a mark in there. What?
A mark with a seared with a hot iron.
Now, with a sear, with having your conscience, your mind seared. When you sear something, what does it leave? What does it leave when you sear something?
It's fixed forever. You cannot remove it. It's stained.
That's a mark.
Yeah, it's stained forever.
And what is the mark? That's why when it says, and to receive a mark in the right hand or in the forehead. I dealt with the forehead. I'm going to deal with the right hand. In their forehead. What's in your forehead? Your
brain.
mind.
Yeah.
I'm not going to go through all the scriptures to explain it because, like I said, we're limited on time. We're pretty much at the end. I want to explain it real quick. And to receive a mark in the right hand or in the forehead, having a conscience seared, having a conscience marked, their mind marked. And it says in the right hand. The right hand, what do you do with your right hand? You make agreements.
You agree, yeah.
You agree. You make covenants with your right hand.
Yeah.
You salute with the right hand. What do you salute? Because you're in support of America's military system. Now, when it says all, and he calls it all, but both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in the right hand. When it says that a mark in the right hand, get me 2 Maccabees chapter 4, verse 34 real quick. What does it mean by the right hand?
It's the book of 2 Maccabees 4, verse 4.
4 verse 34.
It's the book of 2 Maccabees 4, verse 34. Wherefore, Menelaus, taking Andronicus apart. 2 Maccabees 4, verse 4?
4 verse 34.
4:34. Wherefore, Menelaus, taking Andronicus apart, prayed him to get Onias into his hands, who being persuaded thereunto, and coming to Onias in deceit, gave him his right hand with oaths.
Gave his right hand with what?
With oaths.
You're in an agreement. You're in an agreement. You're in an agreement with America. Go on.
And though he was suspected by him, yet persuaded he him to come forth of the sanctuary, whom forth with he shut up without regard of justice.
So when it says he with his right hand made he an oath. Now go back to Revelation chapter 13. So it says, and a mark with his right hand, meaning you're in that death, you're in an agreement with death and hell. You're in agreement with what? And it's sealed in your conscience, meaning it's embedded within your psyche, within your mind. You accept it within your thoughts. You accept in verse, you in acceptance with America, when an established in America, you accept America's politics in verse 11. That's the mark. In verse 7, you're in an agreement with America's military system. That's why you pledge to America with your right hand. You accept the military system. That's why when Colin Kaepernick, he didn't stand and he didn't salute the American flag with his right hand. They say, oh, you don't agree with America's military system? How many people died in a war? How many people died to give your ancestors freedom? How many people died and fought the wars for you to live? Because Colin Kaepernick did a pledge and salute America with his right hand. He was in an agreement with America's political system, military system. Guess what? They said something wrong with you because he was marked with America's military system. Verse 11, another part of the mark is America's political system. If you don't accept America's political system, you don't stand in a court, you don't swear on it, you don't vote. It says, oh, vote or die. Vote, oh, go out and vote. Oh, what is your political party? Oh, I'm a Democrat. Oh, I'm a Republican. You didn't accept America's politics within their mind. You didn't accept America's political party. You didn't salute for them. You're not in agreement of America's politics, their democracy, as well as the republicanism. Now go to verse 13. 13 is, and he doeth great wonders so that he maketh fire come down from heaven on the earth in the sight of man. That's going to America's military system. America being established as the world economic global power, superpower, guess what? It was established by war. You got to be in agreement with America's war. So now you're in agreement with America's politics. Is the mark. It's sealed in your mind. It's sealed in your right hand because you salute that flag. Yeah. You're in agreement with America's military system. You agree. You salute it. You agree with verse 15 with America's religious system. How? You go to church on Sunday. You celebrate Christmas. You celebrate Easter. You celebrate Mother's Day, Thanksgiving, New Year's Day. You go to church every Sunday. You call yourself a Pentecostal, a Christian, Episcopalian. You call yourself a Mormon. You call yourself a Jehovah's Witness. You call yourself a Baptist, a non-denominational. Guess what? You've been marked by the beast. America's political system, America's military system, America's monetary system, America's religious institution, America's way of life is the mark of the beast, 666, the seal. So now, let's kill it, nail it in the cross.
Verse 17.
Because at the end of the day, and it's summed up in two scriptures. It's summed up in two scriptures. Revelation chapter 18, verse 4. I know we went a little bit over time, but it's all right, right?
Yes,
Good.
sir. It's almost done. Yeah.
You only Revelation chapter 18, verse 4.
Revelation 18, verse 4. And I heard another voice from heaven saying, come out of her, my people.
Actually, go to Revelation chapter 15, verse 1.
Revelation 15, verse 1. And I saw another sign in heaven, great and marvelous, 7 angels having the 7 last plagues. For in them is
7 angels having the 7 last plagues. Read.
For in them is filled up the wrath of God.
7 plagues, the 7 seals that Christ released, is filled up with the wrath of God. Go on.
And I saw, as it were, a sea of glass mingled with fire.
John saw destruction. Go on.
And them that had gotten the victory over the beast.
And the Israelites that got in the victory over the beast, those that are written in the book of life. The beast is the so-called white man, Esau. Go on.
And over his image.
Over his image is his religious institution. The beast is Esau, his religious institution. Go on.
And over his mark.
And over his mark is his politics, his military system, his monetary system. All systems that come from Esau. Go on.
And over the number of his name. Stand on the sea of glass, having the harps of God.
So now it says, and it says, and he saw them that had a great victory over the beast, the white man, and over his image, his church system, and over his mark, his political and military system, as well as monetary system, that was able to overcome these different factions coming from the white man. So, but the beginning of the verse 15, it says, having the 7 last plagues. Now let's go to Revelation chapter 18, verse 4, to see those that got over the beast. Verse 4.
Revelation 18, verse 4. And I heard another voice from heaven saying, come out of her, my people.
Come out of her. Come out. Those that got the victory over the beast. Go on.
That ye be not partakers of her sins.
That ye be not partakers of her what?
Of her sins.
Of the beast. That overcame the beast. Of her what?
Of her sins.
That overcame his image. Of her what?
Of her sins.
That overcame his mark. The mark of the beast is his sin. If you partake in anything of this white man, whether it be politically, whether it be religiously, going into his monetary system, going into anything, factions of the white man's government or his systems, guess what? You're in sin. When you keep God's laws, you come out of her. That's why in Esther chapter 13, it says these people have laws that are contrary to us. They don't think like us. They're not Hellenized like us. They don't dress like us. They don't walk like us. They don't eat like us. They don't worship like us. Go on.
And that you receive not of her plagues.
And they receive not of her plagues. So come out of her. They be not partakers of her sin. They be not partakers of the mark of the beast.
We used to scream black power while Heron was pushed. But at the end of the day, nothing's in vain. IUIC has been given a vision. The tents of Judah has risen. Many has attempted the mission, minor murmuring, omitting, and missing the mark. Just reading that he had the flame of fire in his eyes gave us the spark. We on Paul's mission. We out on the road, purple and gold, from Mexico, Cuba, Haiti, Ghana, Sierra Leone. 144,000 boots banging, concrete crackling. These are our men repented at heart. The scriptures is proof. IUIC, we deliver the truth.